Are you ready to start building long lasting partnerships for your emergency management program that scale instead of stalling? Hi, I'm Brad Eisen with Hazardscape. I've been working in emergency management for the past, I think it's now been 18 years through the government of Alberta on my own with Hazardscape. And I was a search and rescue volunteer for 7 years with Edmonton Regional Search and Rescue. So I've been involved in a lot of partnership development, especially when I was in my role of director training and accreditation at the Alberta Emergency Management Agency, where part of my team was the stakeholder relations team. And we were responsible for, creating and defining and finding partnerships for the government of Alberta that would benefit municipalities and First Nations. And relationships matter in emergency management, and they also fit into some previous videos I've done on the seven recovery capitals because we can't do the work that we need to do in a silo. We can't do it alone. So, I'm going to walk you through some initial planning steps that you can take to ensure that your partnerships scale instead of stall. So, first thing, you've got to have a core team. And that is, champions within your organization. And if that's you, it's you. But you need some champions from the organizations you want to partner with as well. So you need to be very strategic in one, how you choose the organization that you want to work with, and then who in that organization is the right person. And they should have some level of decision making authority, track record for cross sector work, and they should have um, maybe some sort of budget control or staffing control with experience working with Indigenous communities and especially First Nations if it's for on reserve work that you're doing. Those are kind of like the things you want to look for. It's almost like doing a little bit of a risk assessment, a strategic risk assessment to see if the partnership is the right one. So identify that core team. It kind of comes down to also doing a what I call like a rapid jurisdictional scan, maybe, or kind of an assessment. And you want to map the jurisdictions, those critical lifelines that your community needs to, respond and recover from a major disaster. So, I mean, you can do those scans just by asking other managers in the nation who they work with, identifying local resources around you just by, doing some Google searches. Maybe you have enough knowledge already of the area to identify those resources, partners that you need to tap into, whether it's for power, water, food, equipment, health, whatever it might be. And when you're doing that scan, it's always a good idea to just, again, keep like a partnership list of the company name, the organizational name, their website, contact, their role, and just a place for notes to kind of just have a central one-stop shop because that contact list is also going to be a lifeline in your response plan for when you need to call them. I would also recommend drafting a concept note or a concept MOU. I don't launch right into doing this because what I've found working at the government and with other communities is you want to leave the initial partnership in a place where it's flexible and you've got time to learn about each other and what your strategic priorities and what your values are. And jumping right into like a formal agreement kind of changes the relationship to being very like protective. So I like to go into this thing and do a draft concept about, what is the problem that you're trying to solve together? What's the proposed vision for the partnership and what the problem is you're trying to solve? And then what are the high level benefits? So things like shorter downtime, cost avoidance, mitigation, whatever it is, kind of tease those out a little bit. Keep the language jargon free. The concept note is really also what you might hear in sales pitch terms as an elevator pitch for senior leaders, for chief and counsel, for other managers. And keep it to maybe like a 3 month or a 1 quarter kind of pilot, and try to get to a placeholder budget if possible, or what you might want to call seed funding, because that reduces the risk for senior leadership because they're not entering into a long-term agreement. You've got time to tease out this concept partnership and bring them along to de-risk it for them. Then once that concept is developed, you can look to secure senior leadership buy-in. And that is by presenting the concept to chief and counsel, to the tribal manager or other directors, and get their sponsorship. So you want to bring concrete what's in it for the nation, what's in it for the community, what's in it for chief and counsel, because they want to know about reducing liability. They want to know about community goodwill. They want to know what's in it for the nation and the members. And if there is going to be a cost centered around this, what is a ballpark figure and where is that funding going to come from? I would hope that if you're a community and you are trying to establish a relationship with a fairly large entity, that the what's in it for the community is fairly easy to find, and that they come with some sort of sponsorship or funding or resources as well. That's especially if you're talking like a big multi-million-dollar corporation. So with that initial planning kind of figured out, we're going to go into another video on bridging into the next phase, which is engagement and retaining those partnerships. But if you want the partnership to scale over time, long term, and not stall out after, the first meeting or two, the initial planning is really important, and that's going to be the foundation for a long-lasting relationship. So grab a notebook, list, just to get started, list 3 local resources or assets that you already know of or that you want to engage with, and just draft like a really quick 1-page concept note. Maybe, then reach out to them for a meeting and bring that to the table and see how they receive it and what questions they have. And that will prompt maybe some further discussion. So I hope this helped. If it did, please subscribe to us. We want other people like you to be able to find us. If you have a comment, let us know. And if you've got ideas for a future topic, put that in the comments, because your comment could be our next video. Know your hazardscape, stay prepared. Thanks for joining us at Hazardscape. You can subscribe to our YouTube and find our ad-free training videos by becoming a supporter on Patreon with a network of other Indigenous peoples looking to make their communities safer. And remember, know your hazardscape and be prepared.